We move away from the Red Bull Ring in Austria to Le Castellet in France, back for the French Grand Prix. We're at the halfway stage of the 2022 season, 11 races down, 11 races to go. The French Grand Prix and the Hungarian Grand Prix will lead us to the summer break before going on a triple header with Belgium, Netherlands and an Italian Grand Prix. Then that's the end of the European season, the flyaways begin. Singapore and Japan back to back, 2-week break before United States and Mexico, 2 more weeks, and then we go to Sao Paulo and the season rounds out in Abu Dhabi. In the Drivers' Championship, Max Verstappen leads by 38 points to Charles Leclerc as well after Leclerc's victory last time out. Sergio Perez dropped down to 3rd position. Carlos Sainz having no scoring finish in Austria with his car catching fire, still in 4th. He's just ahead of George Russell, ahead of Danny Ricciardo, who's a point of Pierre Gasly. Sebastian Vettel 14th ahead of Mick Schumacher in 15th position, 15 points to Vettel, 12 for Schumacher. Double points finishes for Mick in the last 2 races. Yuki Tsunoda is on 11 points as well, ahead of Zhou Guan Yu and Alexander Albon. Lance Stroll rounds out the points. Nicholas Latifi, the only permanent driver on the field with no points this season. Nico Hülkenberg, who only did 2 races, is also on 0. In the Constructors' Championship, Red Bull lead the way by 56 points to Ferrari. Mercedes are 122 points back of Red Bull as well and are comfortably ahead of McLaren. McLaren are on the exact same points as Alpine in their championship battle for 4th. Alfa Romeo is now comfortably ahead of Haas, who are in a battle with AlphaTauri. Aston Martin have 18 points and are second to last. Williams have 3 points on the ball thanks to Alexander Albon. It's second practice at the Castellet Paul Ricard for the French Grand Prix. Let's take a look at the circuit Paul Ricard in the Castellet in France, a 3.630 mile circuit, 15 turns in total and 2 DRS zones. It's a high-tech test track as well, and it's the home of the French Grand Prix. Riding on board then with the 2022 McLaren. Head down towards turn number 1 at the Vierge corner. Brake all the way down into 4th gear. Hug the inside line, get back on the power as it coasts around turn 2 and 3. Technically, the next chicane coming up is turn number 4, but it's a very tricky part of the braking zone. Hard down the brakes, down to about 3rd gear as well as it tightens up for a double right-hander, which leads you on to the Mistral Straight as well. Keep open up now with the DRS and head on back down towards the chicane area. Now, the Mistral Straight is the longest straight in Formula 1, separated by 2 chicanes. The chicane was supposed to be moved out, but it hasn't. Back down, 3rd gear. Use this as a good opportunity to overtake in the race, but already think, oh, we've lost so much power. Oh no, because by the time you hit the Sainz corner at turn number 11, you're already back up into full 8th gear flat out. Double right again, brake mid-corner, swing it back in, don't miss the apex, it's a late one you can catch down at turn 12 and 13. Back off now into 4th gear, tight left-hander as well. In 4th gear part of the track, back on accelerator, 7th gear, 8th gear already as you approach turn 14, drop down into 4th, flick the car to the tight left, last corner, slowest corner of the track, turn 15, 2nd gear, hard on the inside for the right, power all the way down towards the line, and that is a complete lap of Le Castellet at Paul Ricard. Here we go again then, it's time for Friday afternoon here at Le Castellet, and it's time for free practice number 2. Bit of a lag on stream, yeah. For some reason, things have gone a little bit wrong, but then again, Formula 1's management feed have been having problems all day with a complete power failure before practice 1. It's affecting our systems as well, so we'll try and see what is going wrong. But welcome to Le Castellet ahead of free practice number 2 here as well. This amazing circuit as well hosted some fantastic races last year as well. We've had some, honestly, great racing around here back in 2021. 2018, 2019, there was a little bit of a, I think we can just skip this one. In terms overall of what we see out here on the circuit as well, we've got Taiko bands C2, C3 and C4 in preparation as well, all desperately trying to see exactly what they are going to have. Practice 2 ahead of us. Track temperature is at 55 degrees. Air temperature is at 30 degrees, as you can see at the bottom. And we're just trying now to adjust because we had some of the technicians do some technical work between the two sessions. And all of a sudden, everything seems to have gone a bit funny. So as we try and work out exactly what we need to have, we're going about 8,000 now to keep it stable. Let's say good afternoon to Nick DeFries, who's in the commentary box with Crofty and Anthony Davidson.
How was it out there? Nice and hot?
It was very hot. It was a really cool and great experience. The track provides a lot of grip, and obviously the circumstances are good. I know the track, so yeah, it was really cool to kind of feel that downforce and feel that speed and get used to very fast cars again.
We were going to put you in there to do some commentary this afternoon, but we'd never hear you because they're too busy cheering. But you know what it's like as a Friday driver. You get your moment in the sun, the moment of glory, and he took his chance well today.
He really did, yeah. It's really nice to be involved that part of the weekend, and it lasts as well. It's not just that one session. Your input can continue on at least through today and into tomorrow's session, and yeah, they'll be working hard as well back at base in Brackley on the simulator based on what Nick's done in the car. And yeah, it must have just been a massive culture shock though, coming from, what was it, last weekend in the Formula E to jumping in this.
It was a bit drier for a start.
Yeah, dry. Not only that, but obviously the level of grip, downforce and the tracks are very, very different. But to be honest, I felt like I adapted fairly quickly, and I felt like the whole session was very competitive and actually felt reasonably good. I was just disappointed with my second lap on the soft, and then I converted immediately into kind of long-run running, and obviously, yeah, some of the others continue to go for push laps, but generally it was a good session.
Well, there's your car. The other guy is using it now. The other guy.
Lewis Hamilton, yeah.
7-time world champion, starting his 300th Grand Prix this weekend as well. Lewis Hamilton becomes the 6th driver in Formula One history to do that. And in the other guy's car, Valtteri Bottas takes over from Robert Kubica, who stood in for him during this first session. Now, Johnny Herbert thinks you've got an excellent chance of winning this weekend.
There's a chance that Bottas could take something here this weekend, a podium mainly as well. We'll keep on this screen while we just get everything sorted technically on our sides as well. But it's going to be an interesting session. Hopefully you're going to with us. And there we see Carlos Sainz, who is definitely 110%, receiving a 10-place grid penalty for Sunday's race as well. After that, and Max Verstappen having a lot of work done as well as we're preparing for the green flag to come out here for practice number 2. It's time to say good afternoon to Ted Kravitz, who's down in the pit lane. Ted.
Eventually in Austria a few weeks ago, or a few days ago, I should say. Hello, Ted.
Ted?
Oh, that's you, is it?
What's that?
The monkey.
It's hot down here.
What
it's
is
hot
that
down
actually?
here. Hello, Nick. Hello, Crofty. Hello, everybody.
Ted, what is it?
It's the Richard Orlinski. Orlinski is a very famous French artist. And I believe it's Richard Orlinski, or is it Daniel Orlinski? It's definitely Orlinski. I'll Google it. Well, Google it yourself in the commentary box. But I believe it's...
meaning?
Well, what does art mean for anything, Nick? It's in the eye of the beholder. I mean, you know, I'm sure Orlinski had as the outward manifestation of sort of his inner passion for Formula One, or could just be a big red ape.
What is it?
So sure.
As long as it doesn't have a purpose, then it can be art.
Quite
is that
right. Anthony Davidson, ladies and gentlemen, 2022.
Nicely put.
Writing a column this week in your favourite newspaper. But it's time, really, isn't it, to say school's out for summer. Officially, Crofty, the last day of term, the last day of the school year. So the summer holidays are here. So 3 p.m., 4 p.m. in the UK, and wherever you are around the world, or if you've already broken up, then why not put the kids in front of the television for an hour so you can get rid of them, pretend that school's still on, and let us educate them in the world of Formula One. And it's very hot down here, kids. And so to cool the drivers and to cool one Nick DeVries who's standing in the commentary box, Mercedes have turned up with an ultra high-tech cooling device in the nose, otherwise known as a bit that they've carved out with a chisel into the carbon fibre.
They're slit down the middle, yeah.
This sort of central section into there. Does it work, Nick?
I was still pretty hot.
Okay. You need some more cooler air, Ted, going through that gap.
Open up the whole thing. But yeah, I mean, I'm sure they've designed it, for strength there with the strengthening bolt in the middle of it, and for effectiveness as well. But I'm sure aerodynamically it's sound as well as keeping the driver's feet cool. So yeah, if you hadn't joined us before and you're off school now and wanting to learn some other bits about Formula One, well, we'll show you them throughout this session. Just like wings, look, air flows over these wings, pushes it down, low pressure, downforce, suction, fast around the corners. Okay? We'll get some more, won't we, Crofty? Some more education for kids who are now off school but want to learn something about Formula One. Where am I going with this?
I have no idea, but thank you, Ted, as well. Right, everything seems to be back up and working now as well. Practice 2 is underway. The cars are heading out onto the track, and joining us in the commentary box as well, finally, is Josh Plays. If I get this working, because I don't know what is going on with our systems today, where it is literally just not working. It seems to be having one of those moments out there today. As now, I can't even see where Josh is. There we go. Right, is that going to work if I press this button here? It's all an absolute mess. Who would work on a day like this? Josh Plays. Good afternoon to you, Josh.
Not me.
Yeah, I've had it. I'm ready for a nap already as they come through. How have you been there this morning? I did message because half an hour ago, everything in the system started to work, so I was wondering if you were around, but... good to have you for practice 2 and practice 3 in the comms box as well. It's hot. That's about all I can say about what the track's at the moment. Track temperature 54 degrees, air temperature 30. We've been through the heat wave this week. 40-degree temperatures all the way around the UK. I feel complete and utter sorry for all these drivers and all the mechanics out there in France, because it's not nice, is it?
Yeah, really. And runoff analysis, service tech said the blue zone is high grip and high wear.
And the red zone is, what is it, low grip and extreme wear, if I can remember, because it stops the cars immensely. Here it is. Extreme grip, extreme wear, yeah. So there's the red zones. It's like that bit in Airplane, isn't it?
Yeah, it must be to help stop cars going into the barriers.
Yeah, what's that bit in Airplane as well? The white zone is for unloading and unloading passengers only. The red zone is for disembarking and all that lot. They get it confused all the way throughout.
What is the white zone, if there is one?
I've no idea.
The gravel tap, insane grip.
We have got a little bit of the white zone. On the inside, the exit at turn 11, there's a white strip paint area, so we need to have a look at. Hello to Michael, who says, good morning, Joshua. Hoping Haas can continue with their recent run of form. That was sent a couple of moments ago. Haas have been doing amazingly well, Josh, as we said about in practice 1 when Megan was in the box as well. As Bono is back this weekend, so at least Hamilton might have a better strategy. Haas, double points finish in Austria and a points finish for Schumacher at Silverstone. It's just getting better and better.
Yeah, Haas has really improved since and there's the white zone we were talking about.
I think it's because they want to make it look like the French flag. I have no idea, but that is just such a weird one. It's sort of yellowy white.
163 different layouts?
Something bizarre like that, isn't it? It's all those layouts, by the way. We still have a chicane down the Mistral Straight, and this track still doesn't give us entertainment. Ocon's done a 135.6, Gasly a 135.884, Russell's third, Alonso's gone top, 135.531, so Megan might be extremely happy that Fernando's up there as they come down as well. Ted's down in the pits, down at Ferrari, because Sainz's cars are
Ferrari, everybody. They're the most famous team, the longest longevity team in longevity is not a word, kids. The oldest team in Formula One, most successful, etc., etc., etc. They've got two great lads driving for them this year. Charles Leclerc, who's from Monaco, a 2-hour drive down the road from here. Carlos Sainz, who's from Madrid. slightly further drive from here. And at the moment, Sainz is heading into this weekend with a 10-place grid penalty because he's changed more bits of his power unit, that's the engineer speak for engine, than he's allowed to. So he gets a 10-place grid penalty. And now he's stuck in the garage trying to figure out how to get in this car when it's on stands. Can you see this, Crofty? I don't think he's got the headroom. But he might try.
Needs a leg up.
No, he's not going to try. The reason the car is on stands is because they're putting a new floor onto the bottom of it. So there's nothing ostensibly wrong with it, apart from the fact that it doesn't have a floor. Is he going to try? Oh, yeah, he's going to try. This is going to be a tight squeeze.
Oh.
You want to watch this?
Yeah.
Yeah, let's watch this.
Getting in.
Climb up.
How to get into a Formula One car. I didn't think this was a lesson we'd be showing today.
When you've got about, what, 2 foot of headroom, he's going to hit his head on that. Oh, no, they're putting the car even further up. That's not going to help anybody. Put it down, lads, down. There you go. So they're putting a new floor onto his car. So that's why there's slightly late running before he gets out. But, yeah, there's nothing, as I say, nothing wrong with the car apart from it doesn't have a floor on it.
Thank you very much, Ted.
That's a Moeism and a half. There's nothing wrong with the car, despite the fact it hasn't got a floor on it. Hamilton crosses the line, goes 7th, 136.369. It's Alonso on top at the moment, 135.531. I don't think Megan would be too angry about Paul Ricard. She honestly has had enough of this track already. And she's still got W Series and more things to do. But Alonso and Ocon being 1-2, I think she might take that one. Now, this is Lewis Hamilton on his 300th Grand Prix start. He's okay through turn 1 and turn 2. Just runs a little bit wide, exactly as De Vries did earlier on, actually. And De Vries is in the comms box alongside Anthony Davidson and David Croft. But it's still getting through, just a little bit wide out there as well. Now, the original commentary plan wasn't just to have Josh in FP2 because he's just going to be in the box alongside me in FP3. So we've got a double barrel of Josh at the moment this weekend in the comms box for practice. But it's good because tomorrow, it's actually his birthday. So make sure tomorrow we get all the, for practice 3, if you're joining us, to get all the birthday comments in as well. Are you looking forward to it?
You love me, really.
Everybody does. Are you looking forward to it? Honestly, because with birthdays, I usually find them my own, especially. It's hard to get excited for them. And then you sort of feel a bit miserable on the day. And then it's like, oh, actually, it's going to be good, because I was only ever happy on my birthday if there was a race on, and that hasn't happened for a while.
No, it hasn't. Like, for the past 3-4 years, my birthday's been on a weekend, and it's been at the it's been on the same weekend as the British Superbikes at Brands Hatch.
Oh.
And being 1 hour and a half away at the old house in Brands Hatch, we always used to go. But
straight down.
This year, I think I'm just going to chill.
There's nothing on. There's nothing on at all. Bar the F1, that's it, because there's no British Superbikes. I don't think there's no...
Yes, there is.
Oh, is there Superbikes? Oh, Superbikes. Okay.
It is at Brands, but I've decided not to go this year. We're going to go at the end of the year.
End of the year one,
which there's no Formula 1 on, I believe.
Well, next weekend in Hungary as well, we're having a different weekend because... Megan and Dad are commentating on qualifying, while I do Formula E Race 1. And then it's just me and you, and somebody else will be in the box as well, but I can't say anything just yet. So it will be a completely different commentary lineup for the Hungarian Grand Prix, because Megan and Dad are going to be doing Formula E. So that's their second race, because there's too much on. So me and you are going to have a busy day jumping from British touring cars to Formula 1.
Touring cars that weekend as well.
Yeah, next weekend. And then I think there's even an IndyCar. I hope there isn't, but there was something else on.
Let me have a look.
I was screaming at.
I've made a Google Calendar with all of the...
Well, while you find that out, we'll throw it down to Paul DeResta, who's down at turn 1 and 2. He's out on the track.
Yeah, we're going to talk about that, Crofty. Good afternoon. It's a bit warmer out here, and an extra layer doesn't help that either, but... You couldn't get a more picturesque track, would you? And we're obviously down to turn 5. The reason I came here, I just want to watch this car into here through the bump that we're talking about in FP1. Look at the way Zhou Guan Yu, he hits that. The only person I've seen avoid it every single lap is Valtteri Bottas. Kind of goes in the middle of the road and takes away from that. As here we're obviously picking up, I think it's George Russell. Look how wide he goes. He's thinking about the exit, but the shock that goes through the car. And on he goes. Maybe you can pick up with Nick where his line was like compared to George, obviously, in the session. And you can see the data, but you'll see the Haas huge shock if you get into there and how it goes through it, but if you kind of get yourself into the compression, you avoid that. It's just where the compromise is. I don't think you can set the car up for that particular corner, and you can see Lewis Hamilton's obviously just backing off in a lap. There's Lando Norris. He's a little bit tighter than the other guys, and on they go. This hurts the tyres, this corner, massively in the race getting through this section, because you really have to think about the acceleration. Then it's a small lift as the car gets through 6 and then onto the Mistral Straight. But you can see way in the distance, Kieran, the cameraman, if he just points, way up there is after the chicane. And then obviously you're into Scene, which is a pretty epic corner where we've seen some overtaking last year. But just watching the cars live this close is incredible, Crofty. How they work, how the downforce is operating. We've got a Williams coming into view now. You can see into the right, into the left. He's definitely compromising that, Latifi, on the hard tyre. And there you go, he's thinking about acceleration, staying away from the curb. Small, short shift there, so he's getting the traction. And then obviously you're just going to see him flick onto that Mistral Straight, and there's Stroll passing him now. As we're going to pick up an Alpine coming through here, you just see how they get through the lines. Esteban Ocon, obviously a local boy, the French guys have been loving it, but we're going to continue on and head further around the lap, try and get to La Bousset, but it's a pretty good road round the outside, so I'm getting a good view as I go around, Crofty. I'll see if there's anything else I spot.
Excellent.
Thanks very much, PDR, who's out there on the circuit as well for Sky Sports F1. Josh, what does your Google Docs calendar say about what fresh hell awaits us next weekend as Mick Schumacher takes a little bit too much coming out through signs, has a spin and nearly ends up in the wall. He got about 2 centimetres away from plunging straight into it as well. That brought out a brief yellow while we were with Paul di Resta. Didn't see that on the screen, but he hit the red stripe of extreme grip and extreme wear. Anyway, back to you, Josh. What does the Google calendar say about our hell next week?
Yes, I've created a Google calendar of all of the races that we cover. So on Saturday, it's F2, F3, Formula E, IndyCars at Indianapolis Motor Speedway Road Course 2.
Bugger. That's a Saturday race, though, so I don't think that's going to be too bad, is it?
And then NASCAR Xfinity, which we don't cover. Then on Sunday, it's Touring Cars at Knock Hill, F2, F3, and F1 W Series at Hungary, and then NASCAR Cup Series.
The only thing that's worrying me there is what time is the first touring car race and what time is the F2 race. That's what's worrying me there about the flick between the two. But I can't imagine it'll be too much. The only problem is that Formula E is going to be literally left on the dust next week, and it's our home race as well. I'm really angry about the Formula E, actually. Put a tweet out, and it's got some things up that I'm going to reply to later. Gunter Steiner's on the pit wall as well. Crofty's talking to him.
Mick managed to avoid the barriers there. Nick said that you'd be smiling at his car control to keep away from the barriers, but that looks a pretty nasty spin at one stage.
Yeah, it was pretty nasty, but I mean, we know, Le Castellet, you can do these things, you can go to the limit. The not positive thing is we lost a set of tires because obviously they are flat spotted badly and we cannot use them anymore on the long run.
Which is a bit of a shame for Mick. Kevin Magnussen was briefly the fastest guy on the track. I think he's 5th fastest at the moment as Perez goes ahead of him. Where is your competitiveness this weekend? Are you on for a point score, do you think?
We are trying to find out, Croft, in the moment, so and we will only know tomorrow afternoon, but hopefully we can do again points. You know, it seems like, I mean, we always struggle in FP1 for one or another reason, so we had a solid session, but it was just time-wise didn't look good, but we did a lot of testing work, and let's see what we can do on the soft tires here, and we go from there, but it doesn't seem too bad. I mean, you know, we will try.
Good tourist, Anthony here. So what's been the main complaint from the drivers so far? What area are they looking to improve the car? I mean, we saw a very pointy front end there on entry to Le Bousset for Mick, which caused the car to spin. What were his comments on the radio? Have you heard from him yet?
No, not on that run. I didn't hear from him. But after FP1, we started off with a little bit too much understeer, and then we gave a lot of more aero balance to the front, so they liked that, and then I think we just moved on from there. So that is the biggest thing in some of the corners understeer we had, but otherwise they were not unhappy with the balance this morning.
And just finally, Gunther, because it's FP2 and we can talk a little bit longer, upgrades, big upgrades coming next weekend in Hungary for your first kind of major upgrade of the season, yeah?
Yes, Croft, you exaggerate again. Big upgrades and all that stuff. A nice upgrade is coming, you know, because what is big, you know, is relative. So no, we got our first real upgrade coming in Hungary, and hopefully it works, you know, and we go even a little bit faster than we did in Austria.
Is it bigger than the gurney flap, which has been your previous upgrades for the last 10 races, yeah?
Just
that sort of big.
Yeah, it's instead of 5mm girl, it's a 10mm, so it's a lot bigger, huh?
It's a massive upgrade. Keeping well within the cost cap limits by not bringing anything to the track. Gunther, thanks ever so much indeed. Great to have you with us this weekend.
Thank you guys.
I like how it's just not the same old coming through as well as I've got to reply to a text message. That was not correct timing there. I've got to reply. I think a team radio might save me in a few moments' time. We're not hearing for anything as well. So that's our Google Drive next week then, is everything. Go on, Josh.
So, as Hungary is 1 hour ahead, that means the feature race will finish at 11:35 in the morning.
Yep, okay.
And that's with no red flags or safety. Well, oh no, they have to do it in the time limit, don't they? And then the BTCC pit lane opens at 11:53 with the race starting at 12:08. So it's like 20 minutes.
We should be okay, yeah. Okay, that should be okay then. So just a quick off for F2 and go straight there. That should be okay. Yeah, I just put, read all the message.
Verstappen, fastest 2 sectors.
Yeah, what's over
It was a 28.789, and sector 1 was a 23.544 as we watched Verstappen coming through the last couple of corners past the pits entry round the final corner, and it will be, as he comes up to the line, a 1 minute 34.172, 10 thousandths of a second, only 1/100th of a second separate Verstappen and Leclerc.
So we've got, finally, the gaps that we saw in practice 1 are exactly the same in practice 2, with Verstappen and Leclerc being separated, as you said, Josh, by 10 thousandths. That's even better. And Adrian Newey walking back to the pit wall now to sit alongside Jonathan Wheatley and Christian Horner. And now they just get ready to see what's coming on now. This is Pierre Gasly through the Sainz corner. And has he had a little bit of oversteer moment? He's got on the curbs, he's got traffic in front of him as well. Let's hear the radio.
Yeah. What the was that idiot? Is it the first day he's racing, this guy, or what? Don't let someone pass in the middle of the corner. I don't idiot.
Which one was...
So, is he talking about the Haas or the Williams? I think he's talking about the Williams of Albon because he was right on the exit there. What do you think, Josh?
I think the Haas, because it was off the track, and a nice tribute to rest in peace Jake on the Aston Martin, as Gasly, after that incident, comes into the pit lane and Bottas goes out of the pit lane on the outlap. George Russell is third with a 1 minute 34.810, and Carlos Sainz, a purple sector 1, a 23.524.
Desperately trying to get information as well, because there's some news breaking in the paddock as well about some silly season stuff, and I'm trying to get the information as well. And the people aren't reading my text messages correctly as well.
I hope I'm giving you enough time.
Thanks, Josh. I said I'll text you in 15, and they said, what, 15 seconds? No, 15 minutes. I'm not meaning 15 seconds. I was texting 15 seconds. It would be done it by now. On board with Carlos Sainz coming around. I'll tell you what, voice notes. I'm going to voice note back instead. That's easier. as I can mute the mic then and talk on the talk back. Sainz is quick in sectors 1 and 2, a 23.5 and a 28.5 as well. So he's looking quick to maybe beat Verstappen's 134.172. Coming into turn 14 as well, the double apex left-hander, switching back the slowest part of the track, turn 15, second gear at about 70 kilometers an hour. Flick the steering wheel down towards the line. Sainz goes top on a 133.322. He's 0.8 of a second faster than Verstappen. That is a mega time from that brand new engine Ferrari, Josh.
133.322, 8.5 tenths faster as that's Nicholas Latifi.
Yeah, with Ted.
And
Do maths lessons for the children watching. It's more than 8/10, that's for sure.
What's Ted up to?
Down at Williams, where Nicholas Latifi now, for the first time in 3 races, two races actually, has the new Williams upgrades.
Yes, he does.
So yeah, watch out for Nicholas Latifi this weekend. That's great. That's great for him. Alex Albon, of course, had them at Silverstone and in Austria, but he damaged some of them at Silverstone with the accident. And
they look very competitive so far.
Albon.
I mean, Alex in FP1,
right.
FP2, they're on it.
And Nick, just while we do have you, I've got a couple of questions for you, if you can. You're the only person this year who's driven 2 different cars. And so, how did they differ? How did the Merc compare to the Williams?
Well, obviously they share the same powertrain, same gearbox. So biggest differences are, kind of the aerodynamics and suspension. So. I guess the Mercedes just has a little bit more,
Russell
load.
radio.
Just went a bit wide.
I think that's the biggest difference, but it's not an entire.
It was okay, just a blank. Also, please on the left-hand side of the floor.
Carry on, Nick.
Sure.
You got Nick.
Just went a bit wide on the exit curve of 11. He
That was
bailed out
Russell.
early enough, though.
Yeah, it's a bit reminiscent of what Max did, wasn't it, in FP1? Max kept his foot in and didn't run quite as wide. But yeah, it's definitely a rough ride if you go over that curb at such
Curbs here in
speed.
general are quite rough. Also, exit of turn 2, they don't exit of 5. They don't really allow you to go beyond the white line because it's just causing you to bottom out, and we've seen the consequences here at turn 11.
Ted, back to you.
Yeah, sorry.
It's all right.
Changing subject.
No, this is what happens, you see, in FP2.
Avoiding the topic rather than
Ted.
using the opportunity to
Racing drivers, we just live in the moment.
No, that's
diversify.
If that moment changes, we go with
that's
it.
That's a good answer, Nick, for the first one. My second question was, well, let me paint the picture. So when you're driving, maybe you don't have your
and a teacher.
Yeah, exactly. You don't have. I'm something else as well, but I'll tell you that off mic. But you don't have your own physio with you. If you're Nick de Vries, what do? Well, I'll tell you what you do. You borrow Angela for the session. So tell us the story, because it's quite touching watching you after the session, Nick, where Angela Cullen, of course, famously Lewis Hamilton's physio of Hints of Performance, and Angela Cullen was looking after you, making sure you had your cooling little air pipe that was come down with cool air, and your TV was brought down for you, your drinks and everything. And there was a very nice moment, Crofty, at the end of the session. Nick clambered out of the Mercedes and had a little handshake with Angela and thanked her for looking after him in the session. Tell us the story behind that, Nick.
Well, both Angela and Lewis have been honestly very supportive and very kind in kind of helping me before and during the FP1. Lewis was even on the radio when we were unplugged in the umbilical, so you couldn't hear that. But they've been very supportive. And actually, as I was getting ready, Angela just came in and said, "Oh yeah, I completely forgot, but I'm helping you." And I was like, "Oh, thank you, thank you." I was alone all the way till putting my helmet on, and then Angela was very kind to help me out, which was very, very kind.
Teamwork, isn't it?
Exactly.
You're
I
officially
presume
part
that was
of Team
Lewis,
LH now.
mainly.
This is how it
I
works.
feel privileged. I feel privileged.
So was Lewis there? Was he
I'm
there
interested.
rowing it along
I'm
as well?
genuinely interested in his
getting
convo.
information from you, trying to give advice as well at the same time. How did that dynamic work? I'm fascinated to know.
Well, obviously, Lewis was on the radio and he listened to everything what we were discussing in the garage about the runs I did, and I was feeling some kind of wheel lockings in certain areas, and he gave me some advice to make some kind of tool changes on the steering wheel through the lap to avoid those issues. So he was definitely very much involved, which was great to see.
That's really nice to hear as well, isn't it, Josh? About the fact that it's part of the rules that you've got to sort of go in and you've got to give your seat up to a younger driver. As I see Mike crack on the TV screen there. Every time I've got to make that joke, I'm sorry. Every single time, the team principal at Aston Martin. But yeah, I think Nick de Vries did incredibly well, and that was a 1:35 he did this morning, and Lewis so far has done a 1:35.567. Now, I've got that time, I think, saved from what happened this morning, because we haven't got a printer at the moment. It's not actually saved. Oh, great. So I'm going to have to go to Twitter to find out now, because it's somewhere, and I really want to find out what it was. I liked it. I know that. Here we go. So this morning, de Vries' time was a 1:35.426. Lewis Hamilton's did a 1:35.567. So at the moment, in exactly the same car, Nick de Vries is quicker than Lewis Hamilton in exactly the same car.
Go down well.
Well, it's not even the first session. It's not the first run yet, is it? It's not the official, like, this is it, we're going to go for it now and start pushing hard. So we'll see what changes up later when they get onto the soft tyres, as many of the drivers are at the moment on them, because we've got Sainz out on softs, softs for Leclerc, Vettel, Stroll, Albon, Magnussen, Latifi, Alonso, and Ocon, as well as finally our iPad up in the commentary box, by the way, is repaired, so we can actually see what tyres they're currently on. Can we see what tyres they have had on during the session? No, we cannot. That's something that is still, I believe, only on the website at the moment. Although I'm being told it's actually now on the app as well. If I press tyres on the screen, because the iPad's freezing up a bit. Oh yeah, here we go. So we've actually got the tyres up as well, actually, what they've been on in this session. So iPad's handy.
Or front end.
Copy that. Full step.
A good step.
Copy.
Yeah, good step. Leave it to you.
That's Stroll's radio going off in the background as well, on board with Esteban Ocon with driver camera as well. Watching on, looking good at the moment as he flies back through turns 13 into turn 14, the double-barreled left-hander, which leads into the tight hip in almost turn 15, 90-degree right down the straight. Now it's a 1:33.322 for Sainz. Ocon crosses the line and goes 6th on a 1:34.660. But Josh Leclerc set the fastest first sector of anybody so far. He's flying out there with that new engine that he had back at Silverstone. Oh,
yeah, just having a look at the track limits.
Oh dear.
It's bollard sensor, and your turns 1 and 2.
Also not very clean. Start to lap. Okay, copy.
Sainz's radio. Go on, Josh.
Yeah, they're being asked to use the millions of track layouts if you go wide. So you're being asked as a driver to go use the other track layouts instead of going back to the track as soon as possible.
To be fair, I think if I was one of the drivers, I would go round and get somebody to tell me where all the points are for the rejoin, because it is a maze, this track. As you said earlier, 167 odd different layouts, and with curbs around the outside of red stripes, blue stripes, white stripes. It's hard to tell where you are at some points, and it's quite a flat track as well. Hardly any elevation. So it's really bad. I'm surprised we don't do a lot of testing here, considering it is a high-tech test track.
Yeah, talking about re-leveling.
How's the balance?
Ocon, sorry.
Be quite loose on turn in, very sharp on turn in. Then a lot of understeer mid-corner, so yeah, probably worse, to be fair.
Right, back to you.
The runoff at turn 2 was re-levelled, and a gravel bed has been installed at the exit of turn 7.
Yeah.
So a little bit of, you've got the red zones, you've got the blue zones, you've got the white zones, and now you've got a gravel zone. And a TSP dedicated to indicating the obstruction of the pit entry road has been installed. And the race director is Eduardo Freitas.
George Russell's car up on the jacks now as well. Just some work being done at the background. I think Nick de Vries has now left leaving the commentary box. We'll throw back.
I mean, are you going to come
Was
back
it only
for some
half a
more,
session?
or-
I'm happy to. Whenever I get invited, I'll come up and join you guys.
The door is always open to you. But with
Thank
all
you.
due respect,
Let me know.
that door is open for this year and this year only, because
Oh, really?
next year we want to see you on the track instead. Is that
I
okay?
appreciate it. Yeah, make it happen.
We'll make it happen.
You make it happen.
Done.
You can.
Yeah, with the
Well,
best,
you can, yeah.
best
Yeah,
wish
you
in the
can.
world, we don't want to see you back here, all right? we want to talk about you, not talk with you.
Yeah, we'd like to talk behind his back.
Science is improving, so that's interesting. The deck is still not that significant.
See, we can't get rid of him now.
Can't get rid of him now. I only want to do half an hour,
bit
he
of
said.
traffic.
He wants to carry on now. Looked a little bit squirrely coming out of the final turn. He's picking up a nice Toto.
Yeah, Sainz crosses the
behind
line.
Pierre Gasly, and he's
Goes
6
quick.
tenths up. Wow. Indeed, with a 1:32.5. Nick, thanks ever so much indeed.
Thank you
we'll
very
be
much.
back with a little more action.
Have a good afternoon
Uh,
and good weekend.
And you too, my friend. Nick gets to go and put his feet up now, or take part in some engineering debriefs.
Yeah, I think there's an ad break coming as well, as we see Alexander Albon. Yeah, just having a... I hate it when they go to an ad break. Right when we're in the middle of an interesting replay. It really annoys me. But that was... looked like Alexander Albon having a little bit of an error out there on the circuit. Okay, well, while we take this opportunity, it means that I actually get to open up Twitter again, because it means we actually get to hear what Lewis Hamilton was saying in the press conference as well. Now, yeah, it's hard to believe, isn't it, Josh, that Lewis Hamilton is now starting his 300th Grand Prix as a Formula One driver. 300 Grand Prix, that's insane.
Yeah, it is. How many Grand Prix did Raikkonen start?
I think it was like 352, 53, something like that. It was something around that mark, as well as where is it? Here we go. Well, first of all, Lewis Hamilton was talking in the press conference about what he was expecting and how he feels coming into his 300th Grand Prix start. Here he is.
Big weekend for you in terms of numbers. Many congratulations on what will be your 300th Grand Prix.
I didn't even know that, so
Well, how does that make you feel then?
it doesn't make any difference. I feel great.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
a lot of Grand Prix. What advice would the Lewis Hamilton of today give the Lewis Hamilton lining up on the grid in Melbourne back in 2007?
I really don't know, if I'm honest. They would have a deep conversation probably. I don't know. Just enjoy. Just make the most of time. You know, time is so precious, and I think naturally when you're a little bit younger, you feel like you're going to live forever, and you've got all the time in the world. And I would just say time is precious, so just maximize every moment you get with family, with friends, create memories. That's the most important thing, and don't stress too much.
And I think Lewis Hamilton really has created some of the memories, but it was also on about how Mercedes looked coming into this weekend.
Well, every weekend we were hoping to improve, for sure. And I really don't know what to expect this weekend. We have things that we're trying to... we're constantly kind of making changes to the car. The aero forces and everything like that, so aero surfaces. So I'm hoping that we discover something this weekend and helps us creep a little bit further forward. But in general, this has been a decent race for us, so I hope that's the same this weekend.
And I think, Josh, as well, Lewis Hamilton, 300 Grand Prix starts. He's won 7 World Championships. Arguably, he should have won 8, is the question everybody always says as well in response to that. He's won, 103 Grand Prix. He's had 103 pole positions. He's had 58 fastest laps, 184 podiums as well. And this is the first season in all those years that he hasn't actually yet got a victory. Even in 2013 he had a win. Even in 2009 he had a win. So everyone is sort of willing Lewis Hamilton on to get a victory here this weekend because he desperately needs it.
He really, really does. And I found it. Kimi Raikkonen had 353 entries, but only started 349 of them.
I'm trying to remember what ones he cancelled out of.
And here's the replay.
Finally, so this is Albon coming through turn 1. Oh, and getting over the rumble strips and having a big old slide. as well, and just catching the rear of it. So that's just as we went to the replay. Outbreak. COVID, yep, that would be one. America 2005 would be one. What was the Abu Dhabi? No. Yeah, Abu Dhabi 2013, he was entered but didn't race. He left it, so that's 3. So 352 entered 349. That's it. They're the 3. So Abu Dhabi 2013, where he left Lotus in Abu Dhabi. America 2005 and COVID last year at the Grand Prix of the Netherlands, where he pitted. Oh, and he wasn't edited to Italy anyway. As Leclerc goes second, 132.628. Sainz on top though, 132.527. So they're the 3 races that Raikkonen ever went through. Verstappen.
Again, a lot of understeer in the first sector. Okay, understood.
And we saw
a lot of oversteer first sector for Verstappen, as well as here he is actually the world champion of 2021, and with 38 points leading the title, he stands a very good chance of being world champion in 2022 as well. I mean, Ferrari have come back. They've won Silverstone with Sainz and Austria with Leclerc, but he now needs to get victory. Does Leclerc? He needs to win this week in France and next weekend in Hungary, and Verstappen needs to have 2 terrible weekends as well in order just to try and keep the championship alive. In many respects, Silverstone was the silver bullet that this championship needed.
Silverstone really was, and Silverstone was kind of the silver bullet of the championship last year as well, with the crash between Hamilton and Verstappen.
Yeah.
And as well, and Norris has got pedal cam again.
I'm loving this pedal camera as well. In fact, now I know they're going to bring it up. I wonder if it might go full screen. So I'm getting ready to bring pedal cam in on the movie, because we've got the ability to drag it in anytime we need it, because arguably as well, I don't know why we haven't done this. If we wanted to, we could actually have the timing screen up on the screen at the same point, but we wouldn't have the audio. Well, we wouldn't. It'd be a bit confusing how it would work out. But we have the ability to do what Sky did with loads of different images on one screen, like have the driver tracker and the timings on one screen. Is that a cat you brought into the comment box, Josh? What is that? Which one's that? It's on the laptop.
That is my computer you're stood on.
This is Kevin Magnussen into turn 1 and 2. Does he have a slight oversteer? Goes over the curb and, whoa, he gets dragged off the track as well coming through there. So that's nasty from Magnussen. And that's not going to do his back any good. Let's listen.
Do you want to pit now? I hit the curb really, really hard.
Yeah, let's come in this lap, so press the in button.
Yeah, Nick was saying, we're really feeling these curbs this year, and it wasn't the case last year.
Actually, saying that, I've just flicked it over to record the audio from the actual chatter. I reckon if I did this... do you know, that actually works. I honestly reckon there might be a way that we could have a different look of monitor up in the comms box. I actually do. I'll play around with that and see how it goes as well, because that's interesting me now. The technology you find out while broadcasting is, I don't know if Josh is holding up a feather duster or your cat is in the way of the laptop screen there as well, but it's hilarious either way.
Thank you. And you've got hair and sticky balls everywhere. Thank you.
Oh.
Blocking my Discord screen, then blocking my timing screen, then decided to stand on my keyboard.
Always the way. Keeping things alive. I think we've got some radio about to blurt through. I can't hear anything. Yeah, Ricardo. Oh, no, Schumacher radio is going to come through.
So turn 9, it's the exit that's the limit, so you should compromise 9 entry for a better exit of 9.
Charles Leclerc looks like he's going to get out on the track soon as well. Just having a few things done to him at the front.
We're not going to try again, another lap?
It's just time at high fuel max. Race is 1 on Sunday, and I think the high fuel run is important, but it's up to you, mate.
Yeah, but I don't want to start P3 or P4.
Understood.
Oh, so Verstappen wants to go out there on some soft runs, but the team aren't letting him. They want to do another one on the hards. So race is 1 on Sunday, says the engineer as well.
More Red Bull beef? Yes, please.
this is unbelievable stuff from that team. It's like they work so well together, but then every now and then you just see a little bit of a failure, a little bit of a blockage coming through. I think we're going to throw it down in a second to Paul di Resta. I think he's somewhere out the track because he hasn't returned to the commentary box because Anthony's still up there with Crofty. I can hear in my ears. So we'll keep an eye out as there's Lando Norris jumping a little bit over the side and keeping his attack dog in operation. This is looking quite good.
Joe behind on a slow lap, but he's travelling quicker than you. Let him through.
That was Verstappen's radio being told again.
Yeah, Verstappen radio. Here we have one of the McLarens, which will be Norris, as Ricciardo is in the pit lane. Norris is on the second part of the very long straight, I believe, just exited turn 9 and going into turn 10 into sector 3.
Mistral straight, and what's good is actually as well that this driver tracker is perfectly in sync with the timings. What do you say, Josh?
I do not know this circuit at all, and Lando Norris going wide there.
It's confusing because some of them have corner names and some of them don't, so it's hard to tell. Valente's turn 1, I believe, although I'm not too sure. Sainz is down at turn 11 though. That's just after the Mistral straight, and then I think it's the Nord chicane. I'm not too sure. I've got to get that track map out, and I've got people messaging me as well. And the news, by the way, in the paddock that's been going around is that we are very close to an announcement about who will be racing in Formula E for McLaren. Now, the rumour is that's been Felix Rosenqvist, but Rosenqvist wants to stay in IndyCar, and after his performance last time out at Toronto, finishing 3rd, he might just stay there on the podium as well. Are you ready for this weekend then, Josh, with Iowa? You looking forward to watching that? It's going to be a great one.
Yeah, I'm going to enjoy Iowa, and guess what? It's 2 oval races.
Yeah, bring it on. Also, Ted's in the pits.
Why he's taken away, I don't know if you've got them in front of you, Crofty, why he's taken away
Event
the
notes,
track limits penalty for the lap that you're on and the subsequent lap.
I haven't got them as yet.
No, okay. It was, if you refresh your email, you should have it. It's from earlier in the day. But I don't know that was in version 2, and then they've actually taken it away. Sorry, it was in version 1. They've taken it away for version 2.
Right, I say I have got version 2.
You have got version 2, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. For track limits, they take away the qualifying the race. Each time a driver fails to negotiate the exit at turn 10 will result in that lap time being deleted and the following lap time being invalidated by the stewards.
Yeah, that was in Austria, wasn't it? Turn 10.
Well,
because that's the last corner, and you get an advantage by keeping your foot down a bit earlier and being in a straight line a bit earlier, so you can go off on your previous lap, and then you might not be doing it for a benefit there, but you might be doing it for a benefit for the next lap. Yeah. So that's why it was in there for Austria, and that's why you sometimes had one driver getting 2 laps deleted for going over at one corner.
Sorry, I'm confused. This is the French Grand Prix race director's notes.
So yeah, but
are you saying that they've just copy and paste the last event director's
notes? It wouldn't be the first time.
What?
Think back to Monaco, where we had all the problems
last year
with crossing or not crossing the white line on the pit lane exit, which Ferrari then appealed against the 2 Red Bull cars before they realised that the ruling that was in the event notes was actually cut and pasted from the previous year.
Last year's.
Okay, I'll investigate this and get back to you. Very strange. While I tell you about a couple of fixes and fittings and upgrades, we have the new. Did you see that they fixed they've rebonded, done a sort of a mend in the field to Max Verstappen's barge board on the side that was broken and held together with speed tape earlier on. And George Russell, that's important that he got that time in on the soft tyres on lower fuel before he goes and fills the car up, so that we know what the Mercedes can do, because they themselves, Mercedes, are figuring out whether these upgrades. If you were watching our program earlier on today in Free Practice 1, Toto Wolff was kind of saying, well, not really sure whether these upgrades are working. We need to do a bit of back-to-back. They are indeed doing that, but it's worth just seeing what it is. And what it is actually a part of the floor and they've reduced, this is the brief description of how the update works, they've reduced the local floor load by reducing the local camber. That improves airflow to the diffuser, which in turn increases diffuser load. So makes by cutting away, by changing the floor edge just in front of the rear tyre, Mercedes, they've made the diffuser effectively work harder and create more downforce. So worthwhile. That's the main upgrade that Mercedes have got this weekend.
Thanks, Ted. As I just accidentally trapped my finger in between. I was moving my chair arms around.
I thought you were shaking your finger at me saying,
On data doesn't look terrible.
Please.
No. I trapped my finger and I was showing you that. It's just a light little scrap, but I caught my finger on the chair because I was trying to move the system around and I didn't realise that it was already fully out. So I pulled it towards myself and I trapped my finger in it. So that's not nice at all. But it
That
has
is when I magically got 2 paper cuts at the horse stables earlier when there was no paper inside. I think I caught it on a fence or something.
Oh, be careful. I haven't got any splinters in that because that's absolutely horrific. As well to come through, but all looking good then at the moment. As tell you what, though, I'm very much happy with this cheer anyway. So I'll suffer because this is so comfortable. The GT Omega Pro cheer as well, because they are the title sponsor for PSGL, and we had race 1 of PSGL last night for the PCF4 and the F2, F3, F4, F5 and F6 races made their debut last night. Myself and Richie were on the commentary and it was absolutely fantastic. Over 3,000 people watched that race on us as well and were commenting on that, and it was very much appreciated. It was a great race, so I have put it on the community post on the YouTube channel as well, so you can see it, or just type in the PSGL PCF4 and you can see that race from the Red Bull Ring in Austria. Go on, Josh.
The same photo of turns 1 and 2 in the 2022 Race Director event notes.
As they did from last year, the same one.
Let me work on a side-by-side.
I will get you that side-by-side image that you need as well. We'll go to button 9, and while we're on button 9, which is what we're calling it, the emergency screen, and I'll get Josh a proper big screen image as well. Let's listen to some more Ted Kravitz interviews from the ones we've been missing so far. In fact, let's listen to Toto Wolff. He was talking with Sky F1 just after the FP1 session earlier on today, and this is what he had to say as well.
Where you want to be, or is it...
No, not where we want to be. We're trying lots of parts, but we're just lacking pace at the moment in the free practice session.
Okay, can you talk us through what's different on the car between Austria and here?
We have a few aerodynamic modifications on the floor, on the side edges, little things that should make it better.
Is this a track you expected Toto to come to and the car to perform a bit better like it did in Silverstone?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's just early days, but the performance FP1 was a bit underwhelming. We don't seem to extract enough out of it. So we're going to do some compares and see what it gives in the afternoon.
In the second session, you're going to do some compares. Okay.
Yeah. So what's the challenge here then? You go to Austria. Obviously, it's a completely different circuit. When we come here, we've got the heat, we've got those long radius corners. What is it that you expected to sort of suffer from coming into this weekend?
Well, interesting. We're still not getting the tires in an optimum grip window, even not in lap 3. We're going quick, and clearly the soft tire should be one that is pretty robust, that is quick lap 1, and but you see that with Verstappen also. So yeah, there's something which we haven't quite understood.
Is that just a simple thing that the energy you're transferring into the car is not going to the tire? You understand what temperature you need to be in then?
Yeah, probably. You know, it's a matter of downforce, how much you're putting in, and we're losing in all corners against Ferrari. On the straights also against Red Bull, but they're having a lower rear wing. So yeah, there's not an area where we would say, apart from turn 11, I think, where we're competitive.
Nicely done and nicely saved on time as Kevin Magnussen comes back through as well. So that's Toto Wolff saying that he thinks he's competitive out there as well. And we have got the magic screens now set up as well. So when Josh gives us the word, we'll open up the button and we can have a look as Magnussen crosses the line and stays in 8th place as well. And Josh will be working on that now coming through. Eva Gremlin asked what was that ad break a couple of minutes ago. This then is the Carlos Sainz into turn 8 and into the chicane. Gets a bit of oversteer and has to jump the chicane for part of the old layout or the other layout as well. And he missed the apex at turn 8.
Halfway through his steep side.
There you heard him saying they hit the side as well. There is the other Carlos Sainz, the third Carlos in the family as well. It doesn't get confusing at all. They're on the podium as well as they come back through. 3 Carlos Sainzes as in the Sainz family. Carlos Sainz Sr., Carlos Sainz Jr., and then Carlos, which is Carlos Sainz's manager. Also Carlos Sainz. I know. Passports must be ridiculous as well, if you think about it, when they travel together. So, your Carlos Sainz, your Carlos Sainz, and your Carlos Sainz. Just, it's one of those situations. Anyway, 8 minutes 48 to go in this session. Then the timer ticking down. Car performances at the moment. Sainz in the clear, the quickest in the lower speed corners. Verstappen's third. Russell fourth, and Magnussen in P5 as he's running 8th at the moment on the board. Not bad. Surprised that...
Not bad at all. I am desperately trying to make this side by side. And they've also used the same photo for turns 3 to 5 as well.
I have put you, by the way, on your camera is now full screen. So as soon as I press it, your camera will go full screen. Not just yet, but we're still on there side by side here. But Paul di Resta, hey, he's trackside. Down and turning on the other side corner.
Yeah, make or break. Labousse, I think this is the corner on the track where you can really get one over your teammate. I want to get to you because I want to show you the Ferrari line. Watch how much wider they can enter Labousse and just make the corner a bit wider, which helps them at the second part. And we'll go to that in a minute and show you the camber, how it works. Kind of the worse the car, well, he's behind someone this lap, but the worse the car, they seem to get in there a bit early, get the apex, which obviously makes it a bit tighter later on. But if Kieran just comes back round, we'll maybe pick Carlos Sainz up, who's a little bit behind him. But they're able to hang out this side and probably about a car's width to the curb. Here's Sainz here. You see he's a bit wider, sparking away. And it's at this point here he gets the rotation back, and I think that's where the Ferrari's getting the lap time. Watching Max and the Red Bull, they were having to come in a lot sharper, and what that does is allows you to brake straighter to your V to get on the minimum speed, but it looks like a lot of cars get a lot of push. And if you look at the elevation change through this corner as well, that's what you're working against. That's where you're really hurting the tyre, because you're working with the camber, it's on side, it flattens out, and when you get into the compression at the pinch point, that's when you're seeing them bouncing across the curb, because at that point you've got so much torque and demand in the rear, it just kind of washes you out, and the tyre is obviously overheating here. We saw some great moves here in the race, but these cars look epic around here. You can see Perez, he's noticeably getting the car in earlier, and what the Ferraris are able to do. Somehow with that extra downforce, and there's Max, he's in a little bit more as well. He's having to be more conservative, certainly in that entry phase, and that's where the Ferrari is just able to switch on the tyres, I think, more. And come qualifying, even on the Skypad, definitely have a look. There's the Mercedes. He's even further in than what Red Bull's having to do, but the Mercedes looks like it's hurting the front tyre more than ever. George, there he goes through, but we'll do a bit more analysing over the weekend, but that could be a real key to how that Ferrari's unlocking. But obviously the closing stage of the session, Crofty, I'll leave it to you to look at the timesheets. I'm going to go back and get some aircon.
Thanks, Paul, out there. And I would say that was, it was definitely me, and presumably it was you, Josh, as well, during the heat wave a few days ago. And it's probably going to be me at the end of Sunday at 29-degree heat and humidity factor up at 50% in the UK, well, in my area at least, on Sunday. The commentary box is going to be renamed the Sweat Box, I believe, after this one. And it doesn't help that it gets awfully toasty in here with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 monitors, 2 bus mixers, 4 headphones and a microphone in the corner, and 3 people standing very close between each other. I mean, for instance, this is literally all the room we have to stand. Let's count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 steps away. That's how much it is. The Monaco Grand Prix track is 10. This is 7. So this is about the size of the grid in Monaco, believe it or not. You can get an F1 car in here, no problem. But we're in the garage sideways, not horizontal as well. So it's not too bad. We were going to move the box around, but You just can't. There is no room to move this commentary box around because it is just all full of stuff as well. We might adjust it occasionally. We might adjust it one day, but right now there's just zero room. As also the flags won't fit and the light switch is in the wrong place now, so we can't. Well, we could, but it'd be difficult. Anyway, I'm rambling, which isn't good anyway, or it might be for a practice session anyway. I'm doing a TED. Anyway, Sainz top after 17 laps. Leclerc's second, Verstappen's third, Russell's fourth, Hamilton fifth, Norris is sixth, Gasly seventh, Magnussen eighth, Ricciardo ninth, and Perez rounds out the top 10 positions as well. And just a reminder for you as well that we've got the Formula 2 and the W Series race tomorrow. Let's hear from let's hear from Charles Leclerc on the radio.
I use DRS.
Copy.
You can't use DRS. Very interesting. Bizarre situation that we're being here there, but
Max Verstappen flashbacks.
Yep. Try pressing the button once, Max. Just once. Not multiple, just once.
I don't know if you remember the meme that I sent in the Discord. Max,
so.
Try pressing the red button if you're a Sky Glass customer.
I do remember that one, yeah. The red button. Let's hear from George Russell.
Timing screen.
So we're seeing a quite high take on Leclerc.
Well, we know that because he can't use the DRS because of the vibration, the propulsing effects that he's had. Right, time to go full screen because Josh has been busy. You've got some information, but we're going to have to go down to Ted first, so stay tuned, Josh. Can you hear us, Ted? No,
Ted started this session by saying that it was school holiday time. You don't think he skipped off for school holidays?
Maybe he's taking his own advice and he's just
Ted?
kicking back and watching us instead of being involved.
Exactly. I could try again. Ted?
Hello.
Right, go on.
I'm always
then we'll get to Josh.
Yes, what can I do?
Well, I was told you wanted to come in and have a chat about something.
Well, I was going to do a line about Esteban Ocon. I'm garnering information down in the Alpine garage.
Mid-gaming, yeah, that explains why you didn't come in for the first time.
School holidays, mid-gaming. Just keep them off the tablets, everybody, you know. Always on the screens. That's not what school holidays about, eh? They're about kicking about outside with your mates, doing wheelies on your BMX.
Ted, get on with it. We've only got 2 minutes left.
Right.
That's what I used to have. Wow. Painful when he came off that.
I can imagine you around the streets of Stevenage.
Curse that gear
I was trying to find out why Esteban Ocon is languishing down there in 18, not clearly on the pace of his teammate. And my contact Alpine was just about to tell me, and now she can't tell me now that I'm on there to you. So, do you want to go and talk about it yourselves?
Did I come to you too quickly?
Yes, a bit, yeah. But it's okay.
I was making that for the last time.
It's okay. Do you want to talk about yourselves just for a second while I get that?
We'll carry on. You get that info. We'll carry on.
Okay, well, I'll keep an eye on that. Josh, quickly, what's this diagram all about then?
Okay, so the top we'll have a look at first. The left is the photo in 2022, and on the right is the photo in 2021. You can see that it's exactly the same photo, and they've just changed the size of it.
That is unbelievable. So they've cropped it. That's all they've done.
Yep. And on the bottom one, on 2021, you can see it's the same photo because it's the same two people in the shadows, and they've just not circled the one in the middle. They've just circled that one.
This is unbelievable. What are the FIA doing? They're there to run the sport. They can't. They're just cost cutting with their own bloody race director's notes. Ted.
Phone now, yeah. And this is building up to, it's going to be an anticlimax here, where I tell you there's no particular reason why he's 4/10 of a second off Fernando Alonso. He does need to, he's been on the radio, says we need to have a look at some things, need to review some things. Clearly he's not as comfortable in the car as Fernando. The stopwatch doesn't lie, but it's just feeling his way around, getting the car dialed in. Setup's not quite where he wants, but otherwise no particular issue that we can illuminate you about Esteban Ocon at their home Grand Prix as to why he's not quite on the pace. But it's quite close, isn't it? What is he, 4/10 of a second off Alonso? And Alonso himself might have considered he would want to be a bit further up the road on the soft tyres. But that will all change. Maybe that will all change tomorrow for them. They want to put in a good performance at their home Grand Prix.
Thanks, Ted. Checkered flag is out. The session concludes. And so thanks for that, Josh. So they really have literally just copy and pasted the race director's notes. I'm going to go over that detail by detail after tonight and see exactly what it is.
DM you I'll DM it you.
Thank you. I'll get that on and put it on in the
Do
report as
you
well.
remember
21st night of September? Sorry, go on.
the clown car?
Oh, blimey. That was Le Mans, wasn't it?
Yeah. Oh, George.
George is off. He's got a radio.
That's why I asked.
Which one was that then? Couldn't get back to the bollard, says George Russell, so he's broken that. Was that DKR Engineering, by the way?
Yes.
Hey, I can still remember. So George went off the
That
track.
was at turn 5.
So he could have he won't get a penalty for that. He'll just get a little bit of a warning from the race director, Eduardo Freitas. And Eduardo Freitas has been chosen to be race director for this event because he's had a lot of experience at Paul Ricard with the prologue for the World Endurance Championship being taken part here around about 9 times as well. And that's a long test session as well over 2 days. So Eduardo Freitas is very familiar with Paul Ricard and knows exactly where to go as well as a Grand Prix event. Sainz takes it. And I must admit, it's been more of an interesting practice 2 than practice 1 was this morning. But it's Carlos Sainz, yes, he's gone fastest with Leclerc 2nd, Verstappen 3rd, Russell 4th and Hamilton 5th. Hamilton's time, come on, what is it? It's a 1:33.517, so he beat the overall time of Nick de Vries as well, which is good to see. But Leclerc was fastest Sector 1 with a 23.186. Sector 2 was a 28.355 for Verstappen. Sector 3 for Carlos Sainz was a 40.959. But it is Carlos Sainz who has gone fastest by a tenth and a bit, a tenth and a thousandth quicker than Charles Leclerc. It's a 1:32.527 as a young Ferrari fan gets on the TV pictures as well. And now everybody comes through as well and gives us a wave as they come onto the grid then. Lights out, race on, as well as they extinguish the red lights and now they do their practice starts. Okay, Josh, what was your moment then of FP2?
Probably, I nearly said Mick Schumacher's spin. And a couple of days ago, Gene Todd released an update on Michael Schumacher, so I'm going to read that later.
Absolutely. I think I saw that, but I haven't read it all. But I know that he watches races with Michael as well, and we all continue hoping that Michael makes as great a recovery as he possibly can after his horrific accident skiing back in 2013. As they now come back through. Countdown to Silverstone I've just got from MotoGP's email. Sadly, I'm not going to be at Silverstone because no accreditation. That's annoying. For MotoGP, that is, but still planning on a great weekend. But what I have been told is...
touring car Silverstone?
Oh, planning on that, yeah, 100%. If I can get down in time for the race in the morning. Or if I could do the race in the morning from my hotel room, then I would do. But at the moment, yeah, we're trying to get to Silverstone. Right, 50-degree track temperature at the moment as well. That's absolutely insane. It was 59 degrees in practice 1. So that 9-degree change overall on the board. Okay, it's time then to take a look at the practice times. And it was Carlos Sainz who's ended the session fastest on a, as I said, a 1:32.527. Carlos Sainz is second to his teammate as well. Charles Leclerc second. Max Verstappen, I'm turning that off because it's bugging me now. There we go. So, it's Carlos Sainz on top with Charles Leclerc second, Max Verstappen is third, George Russell goes fourth, Lewis Hamilton is fifth, Lando Norris sixth, Pierre Gasly 7th, Kevin Magnussen 8th, Danny Ricciardo 9th, and Sergio Perez 10th. Fernando Alonso is 11th, Valtteri Bottas 12th, Sebastian Vettel 13th, Yuki Tsunoda 14th, Lance Stroll is 15th, 16th for Alexander Albon, 17th Zhou Guan Yu, 18th Esteban Ocon, 19th is Mick Schumacher, and 20th on the board for Nicholas Latifi as well. Not a bad session then, Josh. Thanks for your company for practice 2. I'll see you for practice 3, the session you were meant to be on for your birthday. So we'll see you tomorrow for that. We've got qualifying coming up as well tomorrow. You can join us for that as well. Got W Series and Formula 2 and Formula... no, just W Series and Formula 2, isn't it, this weekend? Don't forget about Iowa and IndyCar as well. It's going to be a very exciting day. Fastest day one, though, that goes to Carlos Sainz on a 1:32.527. We'll see you tomorrow for all of the action here. Bye for now.